Hello, I am the Paraffin and welcome back to my channel. Today we shall be making a very basic pillar candle. Right, let's get started. I shall be using the two boiler method today, which consists of an old stew pot and a stainless steel jug. You also need a thermometer to keep an eye on that temperature. We shall be using a basic mould with a hole in the bottom, some wax colouring, some blu-tac, a peg or anything like that to hold anything together, and anything with a point, a skewer, a needle, a cocktail stick. Also, you will require an old milk brush, a spatula, and vegetable oil or sunflower oil, and scissors. These are wicking scissors. You don't necessarily need these, I just use them because it gives a nice clean cut. Wicking string, cut to size, and most importantly, paraffin wax. You will also require an apron, some goggles, and some people like to wear a mask. Let's get started. Okay, well the first thing to do is to put water into your pan, fill it about halfway. If it's a big pan, quarter of the way will do nicely. Then check on that thermometer whilst the water gently boils. Keep an eye on that heat. You should be working between 180 and 195. I don't tend to use scales, I tend to use the size of the mould to measure out the wax. So fill 1 cup and a half. Don't be afraid of using more than you need. Sometimes you will require several repours. I won't be adding any colouring as yet. That should take about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. You just give it a gentle stir every so often. And keep checking on that temperature. Right now it's 160, but it shouldn't take too long. Making candles is quite a slow process. Never rush yourself. Rushing a candle will make for a very bad candle. If you rush yourself, you usually end up with candles that are dipped in the middle and don't burn particularly well. Keep giving your wax a little stir. As you can see, it's starting to liquidize. You will notice a tiny bit of colour in there already. I did a naughty and I didn't clear out my jug from the previous candle that I made. You really shouldn't do that. But if you plan on making a candle of similar colour, it doesn't really matter all that much. Although you will find that you may pick up a few dust particles and hairs. So try and avoid that. Keep an eye on that thermometer. It's around 170. See how it's liquidizing very, very nicely. As I said, it is a very slow process, but what you will get in the end is a very nice candle, so it's worth it. Always keep those goggles on because sometimes you will get splashback, and wax isn't particularly nice. It gets very hot very quickly and it will burn. So always be safety conscious. Never ever take your eyes off the ball, and do keep checking that thermometer. Wax does have quite a low flash point, between, I think it's 230 and 250, and in order to make a candle you need to be between 180 and 195, so do be careful and keep an eye on that thermometer. And make sure you always have it on a nice simmer. You don't want it any faster than that, because as I say, wax does get hot very quickly. Keep stirring just to help it along. Right, we are almost there. Liquidising very nicely. There's just a few fiddly bits. The next part is the wick. You will need to pop it into the wax for about 10 minutes. I usually use a nice big string of wax. You can get them already pre-prepped and pre-made with a little sustainer on the end, but I like to do it all myself. It's a lot cheaper to do. You get quite a large ball of wicking and you can make a lot of candles out of them. What I tend to do is get the mould, measure it up along that, and then add more. You will be trimming that later, but always add more wicking. You can get various sizes of wicking. This is perfect for your average candle. It's perfect for your votive candle, your tea light, your container candle, if it's a small container that is, and a basic pillar candle. The thicker they are, the heavier and quicker your candle will burn, so consider the size of the wicking and the size of the container. For example, if it's one of those large pots, kind of like the Yankee candles, then you will need a slightly thicker wick. Okay, now what we do is we drop it in there, pop it down, make sure it's fully covered in wax, and we leave it there for 10 minutes. It's now been 10 minutes, and what you need now is an old fork or some tongs, anything like that. Just fish it out. So what you need to do now is straighten out your wick. Make sure the ends aren't frayed. Push them in and thread it through your container. Make sure you have plenty of wick. Should be enough. And then fill the hole with this blu-tac. Make sure it's firmly on. And then curl up the wicking. Okay. Make sure it's firm. Don't worry too much about the wick being in the middle, just check. And now we add the colour. Today I've chosen nice reddish pink colour. That's all you really need. I'm going for a sort of pastel-y colour. And it's pretty much what I used before, so not contaminating the colour too much. Seriously, do wash your containers afterwards, don't do what I do. Okay, pop it in there. Right, the wax dye does not take very long to dissolve. There you go, look, it's already dissolving. Keep an eye on that thermometer, 180. You will need to grease your mould. Just dab, just a little dab there of vegetable oil. And grease it well. But make sure there's not too much residue because otherwise it will ruin your candle. Make sure it's very nice and greased. But as I said, not too much. Okay. We are ready for pouring. Use a towel to pick up your jug. You'll find it will be a bit hot. Just wipe the bottom of it so you don't get any water on everything. Do not get any water inside your container. Okay. Hold on to your mould and gently pour. Not too slowly, not too quickly, and keep it in the same spot. That's about 1 centimetre from the top. Would help if I could see. My goggles are fogging up ever so slightly. Okay. Okay. And as you can see, I've still got plenty for a repour. And now, grab this little fun doodad. I have no idea what they're called. I will look it up and I will put it in the description. But for now, it's a doodad. Okay. So just thread the wicking through it. And great thing about this, it finds the middle pretty much straight away. And then make sure your wick is nice and tight. Do not let it go loose. And attach a peg. Okay. Now we shall wait 15 minutes. You just need to hold the tip of that mould, just gently tap on it. This will get rid of any air bubbles. Air bubbles tend to collect around the sides and around the wicking. So just nicely, very gently tap without moving your mould. Right, and now we shall wait another 15 minutes. Okay, so now what you'll be doing is you'll be taking this, a skewer, a cocktail stick, anything with a sharp end. Hold on to your mould and gently prod a couple of holes as close to the wicking as possible, as far down as you can. This is purely because you will have air bubbles around the wicking. It happens. Don't worry too much about the look of your candle at the moment because, like I said, we will be doing a repour. So, put lots of holes around the wicking without moving the wick. Now there's the challenge. And prod anywhere else you feel there may be an air bubble that's collected. I like to prod around the edges just to be sure. Be careful. Go slowly. Try not to move the mould. Try not to move the wick. Once you're satisfied, then it's more waiting. And then we just seem to be waiting a lot. But that's just how it is with candles. This time, set an alarm for 30 minutes. Right, we just gently stir the wax ready for the repour. Grab your towel because the handle will be warm. Shake off any excess water. Try not to get any water on your candle. It's very important that you don't do that. Okay. Hold on to your mould and pour not too quickly, not too slowly, and in one place. This time, pour up until a centimetre to the top. And then, very gently, tap. Get rid of air bubbles. It's very important that you don't let your candle have any air bubbles. Try not to move it too much. And just like before, we will now wait. It's been 3 hours and we are now going to take the candle out of the mould to just remove these bits. This bit can be a bit fiddly, a bit tricky, and you will quite often need to just bash it up against the table like that. Don't forget this bit. Remove the blu-tac. Okay. Last time I did this, it took ages to get out the mould. Sometimes they come straight out, other times they can be a bit tricky. So just be aware of that. So, okay. Sorry about the ensuing loud noise. There we go. And there we have our candle. All that's left to do is give it a snip Let's do it around there. Okay, and the same for the bottom. Give it a snip as close as you can. Okay, and there is our candle. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you give it a go sometime. And if you did enjoy it, make sure to like. If you haven't already, subscribe. Hit that notification bell for more videos. And maybe drop me a comment or two. Tell me what you thought of this video. Was it clear and concise? Was I not being clear enough? Let me know. Thank you very much.